Welcome thaw adultery story. Confessions. James hesitated for only a moment before answering, his voice breathless and unsteady. "Ilay choose te massage course," he said. He always looked at me as if he couldn't wait thaw div me, as if he was willing to do whatever he commanded just thaw be close thaw me. He smirked, leaning in slightly, me breath teasing his ear. "Wrong chose," he whispered, me voice dripping with amusement and concho. "You re going thaw feel how soft, smooth, and beautiful me skin is, but you are definitely not going to do too much. And you wouldn't touch me remotely inappropriately. Za you understand that?" "Yes, ma'am," he stammered, his body visibly tense. His nervousness was delicious, thrilling me in a way he hadn't felt in years. He smiled, placing a soft peck on his cheek. "Goodbye." He handed him a small bottle of scented massage oil and made me way thaw te bed, draping myself across te soft sheets. "Now come on, we zon't have much time. Richard will be back any moment." James hesitated briefly before stepping forward. He uncupped te oil, his hands shaking as he poured some onto his palms. Te scent up lavender and vanilla filled te air as his fingers made te first tentative contact with me back. He could feel his hesitation, te way his breath came in heavy, uneven bursts. His hands trembled at first, barely grazing me skin. But as te seconds ticked by, his touch grew firmer, more confident. He closed me eyes, allowing myself thaw sink into te sensation. His hands were warm, moving in slow, deliberate circles over me shoulders, ten down me spine. I felt good too good. A soft moan escaped me lips, unbidden. He felt his hands pause for te briefest moment, but he knew what he was doing. He knew te effect me voice had on men, how that soft, seductive sound could drive them mad. He had turned man into desperate fools with just a whisper of pleasure in me youth, and now he was using that same power on James. His breath hitched. But he continued. His hands pressed into me back, needing te tension from me muscles. He was trying so hard thaw stay composed, thaw beige respectful, but he could feel his restraint slipping away with every passing second. His hands slid lower, en the me waist, lingering at te curve up me hips ten he hesitated. He smirked, letting out another soft G. He could sense te internal battle waging inside him. Te poor boy was completely under me spell, yet he was trying so hard thaw be good. How adorable. But he wasn't done playing. He shifted slightly beneath his touch, allowing te towel drape over me thaw slip just a little lower. His fingers brushed against me exposed thigh, and he felt his whole body tense. He was losing control. His breathing grew heavier, his hands more eager, more daring. His fingers pressed into te flesh up me thighs, massaging slow and deep, his movements almost hypnotic. Another moan slipped from me lips, louder this time. He wasn't just enjoying te massage. He was reveling in his torment, his desperation. He could feel him trembling behind me, his self-control hanging by a fragile thread. He thought he was in control, that he was seducing me with his touch. But in reality, he was te one being seduced. He was te one falling apart. His breath ghosted over me ear. Te warmth up sent a delicious shiver down me spine. "Please Rachel, gan e just sing hua haup," he whispered, kidding him off. "Use on te get thaw make requests." He tensed, his body stiffening. Thee could practically hear his heart pounding. "Na get ow." "Na," he blurted ow, his voice filled with desperation. "I'm sorry, isn't mean thaw offend you please." He lifted me head from te pillow and turned thaw meet his gaze, me expression calm, unreadable. "Zonti make me repeat myself, James," he said, me voice softer this time more dangerous. "Get out, now." He looked at me, his eyes wide with something between longing and regret. Hurriedly he stumbled back, leaving te room without another word. He watched him go, a slow satisfied smile spreading across me lips. He was completely and utterly mine. He had seen that look before. Te look up a man trap in te palm up me hand, unable thaw escape te pull up me presence. Hes isn't he just want me? He needed me. And he knew exactly how thaw keep him wanting more. He sank back onto te bed, stretching lazily, feeling victorious. This was a game he had played many times before. A game he had mastered. So man affection, make him feel desire ten, just when he te en ga s he has you. Pull away. Leave him long, aching, desperate. Te push and pull. Te intoxicating dance of power and seduction. James was no exception. He had him exactly where he wanted him. And te best part? This was only te beginning. Later that zai, Arthur called tha check in, telling me he would bev returning in 2 days. Imagine hising your husband is coming back home, and instead of feeling happy. You ray already dreading his presence. Isn't he want him back? Not yet. Not when he was still enjoying me little game. He knew he had one more zai tha make James suffer. For using his big mouth te way he shouldn't he. Saw, he planned tha take things further. Richard had gone out with his girlfriend, and he was feeling good. Te house was silent, except for te soft hum up te evening breeze filtering through te open windows. He lounged in me bedroom, clad in nothing but a silky nightgown, contemplating me next move. Te thought up James alone in te house made me pulse quicken. He had spent te eye avoiding me gaze, flustered and shaken from our last encounter. That was about tha change. Needing something from Richard's room, he walked over, me bare feet padding against te wooden floor. Isn't he bother knocking? Why should he? This was me house after all. As he stepped inside, he was greeted by te sound up running water. Te on the bathroom door was ajar. Steam spilling into te bedroom lie an invitation. And ten, he saw I the. Te curtain wasn't te fully drawn. Through te misty glass, he could see James's silhouette, his toned body glistening under te stream up water. He should have left. He should have walked away. But isn't he? Instead, me fingers twitched on te de ao and ka en abe before he took a step forward, me curiosity or was I the something more? Adding te better up me. Before he could think twice, me hand reached out and slid te curtain open, revealing him completely. James gasped, his body freezing mid-motion, water cascading down his sculpted frame. His chest rose and fell with heavy breaths, his arms tensed at his sides as he turned his stunned gaze toward me. Resha, what te hell, he stammered, his voice a mixture of shock and disbelief. He let me eyes trail over him slow and deliberate, taking in every inch of him. He was breathtaking. His skin glistened under te soft light, each ridge of muscle perfectly sculpted, droplets clinging thaw his body in a way that made me throat go dry. Me gaze dipped low before he dragged I the back up, meeting his wide, panicked eyes. Well, he said, tilting me head as he leaned against te de oo epen a, you've seen me lie this before. He only thought he de be fair and see you too. His Adam's apple bobbed as he swallowed, his fingers twishing at his sides, as if debating whether thaw cover himself. But hasn't he? Had just stood there, frozen in place, his jaw clenched so tightly he could see te tension ripple through him. Rachel, you can't just. Can't what? He cut him off, me voice smooth as silk, me lips curving into a slow, knowing smile. You think he's on to notice how you look at me? How you want me? James exhaled sharply, running a hand through his wet hair, slicking the back as if trying to collect his thoughts. This is dangerous. He murmured, his voice strained, his body betraying just how much he wanted me in that moment. He stepped closer, te air between uet thick with heat and something neither of uet wanted tha name. Me fingers trailed along te edge of te damp counter beside te sink, me nails making te lightest sound against te surface. Dangerous? He echoed, feigning innocence as me gaze flickered down his body again, lingering in places that made his breath hitch, or excite him. His hands curled into fists, his entire body rigid as if he were using every ounce of self-control not to go jap me and press me against te cold tile. And God, he wanted him thaw. For te first time, he felt myself wavering. Me own resolve cracking as he took in every inch of him te heat in me stomach pulling lower. A dangerous, delicious ache that he hadn't felt in so long. He was losing control. And that wasn't part of te plan. He needed thaw snap out of the before he noticed. He cleared me throat, forcing a smirk onto me lips as he took a slow step back. You should finish up, he said, me voice steady despite the way me pulse hummed. Is auntie want you cashing a cold now, Zawi? James let out a breath he had clearly been holding, his muscles still tight with tension. Has isn't he move? Has isn't he say a word? Had just stepped meh, as if trying to figure out if this was real. Or if he had just imagined it. He turned on me heel and sauntered out up to bathroom, but not before letting me eyes sweep over him one last time, imprinting the image of him in me mind. He closed the door behind me, leaning against it for a moment, exhaling slowly. Me fingers tingled. Me skin burned. And me body betrayed me in a way he hadn't expected. He wanted him. No. He craved him. But he wasn't going to give in. Not yet. The game continues. This game was far from over. And James was already caught in me web. Now, he just had to make him be able to stay there. A new opportunity. He woke up to the soft glow of morning light, streaming through me window. Stretching lazily, he reached for me phone. The moment he unlocked the screen, me heart esca I pepe ede a beat at the notification string back at me. Richard. Isn't he return last night? Mom had other plans. Let he get dad tomorrow from the airport. Me fingers tightened around me phone as he read the message again. Richard wasn't he coming home tonight? That meant another zai alone with James. Funnels I exhaled, feeling as strange make-up emotions flood through me. Excitement, anxiety, annoyance, restless hunger. He had spent days teasing him, seducing him, pulling him close only to push him away at the last moment. And now, it was our last opportunity. But why did it feel different now? Why did he suddenly feel vulnerable in a way he hasn't before? Was it because deep down he wasn't just playing anymore? Brushing the thought aside, he climbed out of bed, slipping into a silk robe, letting it hang loosely off me shoulders as he padded befoot toward the kitchen. A shifting te scent of freshly brewed coffee drifted through the air, and he smiled to myself. James was already awake. But when he stepped into the kitchen, me smile faltered. He was there sitting at the counter, phone in hand, absently stirring his coffee. But something was different. He tilted me head, studying him. Morning, he said, letting me voice drip with warmth. He barely glanced at me, mumbling a simple, morning, before returning his attention to his phone. Not once did his eyes wander over me the way they had every other morning. Not once did he shift uncomfortably or steal those guilty glances at me exposed skin. Losing control? Me brow furrowed slightly. Did you sleep well? He asked, stepping closer, hoping to reclaim me control. He nodded, but isn't he and so? His tongue idly scrolled down his screen. Something was off. He leaned against the counter, crossing one leg over the other, allowing the rope to slip slightly just enough to hint at the curve of me thigh. James, he pressed me voice softer, more guessing. Finally he lifted his gaze. But when our eyes met, he felt a sudden shift in power. There was no desperation in his eyes this time. No fleek up toshed lust. No helpless craving. No submission. Instead, he saw something else. Something unreadable. Something almost distant. He swallowed. Are you all right? His lips parted slightly, like he wanted to say something. But then he hesitated. His eyes flicked away as he took another sip of his coffee. And just like that, the concho he had wielded so effortlessly for days felt like it was slipping through me fingers. The game was changing. He straightened, suddenly restless. James. He tried again, me tone firm now demanding his attention. He finally looked at me again. But this time, he felt exposed in a way he never had before. His gaze wasn't filled with hunger or torment. It was calm, steady, unreadable. And for the first time since this game had begun, he felt uncertain. A slow, uneasy heat crawled up me spine. What had changed? Was this his way of getting back at me? Was he turning te game against me, trying thaw make me feel what he had made him feel all these days? Helpless. Wanting. Te thought sent a thrill through me. But also something deeper, something I wasn't ready thaw name. I turned abruptly, me heart pounding as I strode back thaw me room, a te door behind me. Leaning against I thee, me breath came faster than I expected. This wasn't right. I was always in control. Always. I game I refused to lose. I paced te length of me room, arms crossed over me chest, trying to analyze te shift. Did he see I thee? Did he notice te way I had looked at him yesterday? Had he given too much away? No. I couldn't let this happen. I wouldn't. I had spent too many days banding him thaw me will, making him bay there with just te whisper up me touch, te promise up something he could never have. I wouldn't let him take that away from me now. I stopped pacing, taking a deep breath as I composed myself. No. This wasn't over. Not yet. I had spent days playing me game, keeping him at Azoma's length, teasing him thought he brink up madness. But today, I would make sure he's remembered exactly ve kept hat o was in control. A shifting power. James had gone out for what seemed like forever. And with each passing hour, me emotions tungled between long and dread. I had spent tezai pacing, me mind teetering between reckless desire and te caution that should have restrained me. When he finally returned stepping through te door with an air of casual indifference. Me breath caught in me throat. Was I relieved? Or terrified? I wasn't sure anymore. Te uncertainty of te morning still lingered his cold demeanor, te way he had evaded me attempts to lure him back into me control. He had seen something in me yesterday. A fleek up me own desire. And I thee had shifted te balance between q8v. That's me. But he wasn't te type thaw back down. If he had lost me grip over him, I was determined thaw's reclaim I thee. Te final move. I slipped into a silk white nightone a piece so delicate and revealing that I thee was impossible thaw igno. I thee cascaded over me curves, te fabric whispering against me skin as I stepped out of me room, feeling every beat lie a goddess ready thaw enthrall her sub piece once more. Te gown draped just right, exposing te soft swell of me cleavage and te smoothness of me thighs. I wasn't leaving anything thaw chance tonight. Taking a botto upga, I walked into te dimly lit sitting room, calling his name with quiet authority. James. He appeared in teta. His expression guarded. His body tense as if bracing himself for battle. He said, his voice controlled and measured. How is your zai? I smirked, tilting me head as I poured tega into 2 glasses. You read doing your best thaw sound so masculine. As if you've suddenly built some kind of persistence. But he knew better. I took a slow sip upga, letting te taste linger on me lips before speaking again. Come sit. He hesitated, ten moved toward me, taking te seat across from mine. I handed him a glass, washing him carefully as he took I thee. Silence stretched between q8v thick with tension. Tense slowly, deliberately, I licked me lips before biting them softly. His grip tightened on te glass. And there I thee was. Te flick up desire in his eyes before he turned away, as if fighting against I thee. A surge up tumf cost through me. He was trying thaw play te game now. Trying thaw act as though he was in control. But he could see past I thee. His restraint was breaking. And he was going thaw push him over te edge. Pushing to limits. So tell me, James, he said, leaning in just slightly, letting me voice dip into something softer, sultry. How would you say your experience over te last few days has been? His jaw tensed, his Adam's apple bobbing as he swallowed. I th's been, he hesitated, ten exhaled, shaking his head. I th's been te best break Eve ever had. But also te worst. Yacht an eyebrow intrigued. Oh, and why is that? His eyes burned into mine intense, unreadable. For a moment, I thought he would hold back. But as if something inside him snapped, he whispered. Because up you. Surrender. Feigning innocence, he tilted me head. Me? Has ran a hand through his hair, looking away, frustrated. He thought he could handle this. He thought he could resist you. But you make it the impossible, Rachel. Every move you make, every word you say. He exhaled sharply, shaking his head. You drive me insane. A slow, satisfied smile spread across me lips. Are you saying you isn't enjoy all this time alone with me? He whispered. Me breath warm against his skin as he leaned in just slightly closer. His body shivered. Just barely. But he noticed the tension between us had become unbearable. A palpable force neither of us could ignore. Then suddenly, he stood, his hands clenched at his sides. I'm sorry for calling you old, Rachel, he said. His voice was raw, filled with something dangerously close to desperation. You are the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. I was just being a fool. Satisfaction curled inside me. But even as I basked in his words, me own hunger for him gnawed at me. He had admitted he had surrendered me in every way. Except the one that truly mattered. And yet, something held him back. The last push. He rose me feet, stepping close enough that he could feel the heat radiating from his body. The energy crackled between us and electric pull neither of us could deny. He reached up, brushing me fingers lightly against his jaw, then whispered in his ear, I forgive you. Before he could react, he placed the softest, most fleeting kiss on his lips. His breath hitched. His entire body stiffened, as though every nerve inside him had ignited at once. But he pulled away. Before he could deepen before he could take control. No. He wanted him to come to me. To finally cross that line himself. He stepped back, keeping me gaze locked onto his. Now he said, a playful smirk curving me lips. Let us dance. The moment of truth. His eyes darkened, his breath uneven. For a moment hesitantly he move. Just stood there, looking at me like he was something he couldn't quite believe was real. And then finally he reached for me. His fingers brushing against me waist as he pulled me close. As the music played softly in the background, we swayed together. Bodies pressed just close enough thought. He could feel his heartbeat hammering against his chest. His breathing shallow. His hands hovering just above where he truly wanted to touch me. And as we danced, I knew this was the moment where the game would end. Where he would either shatter completely and claim what he wanted, or step away forever. And God help me. I wasn't sure which outcome I wanted more. The evening stretched into what felt like a dream. For the first time in a long time, I was happy. Truly happy. And for the first time in even longer, I felt special. I couldn't remember the last time I had danced with any man. Or the last time a man held me the way James did. Looking at me with such raw desire in his eyes. As if I were a god he couldn't wait to worship. We moved together through the music, the air between us thick with tension. He had been trying to control himself all night. Touching me with careful restraint, as if afraid of disrespecting me. Little did he know. That was precisely what he wanted. To shift. He wanted him to let go. To take control. To sweep me off me feet and claim me with confidence. He felt the air shift. His touch, hesitant at first, grew more assured. His fingers lingered longer, his grip on me waist tightened, pulling me closer. Te warmth up his body against mine sent a chill through me. Then suddenly, he turned me around to face him, his hands firm on me hips, his gaze searing into mine. Rachel. He whispered me name as if he had completely undone him. He was a man vekep had had lost all his strength. All his resistance. He wasn't sure what he would do next. But then softly, hesitantly he said, I'm sorry. The kiss that changed everything. Before he could react, he pulled me into a deep, hesitant kiss. That kiss was everything. It sent a thrilling chill through me body, igniting a fire deep within me. He kissed me with hunger. With desperation. A desperation that made me knees weak. But he pulled away abruptly. Iman sarive shall Before he could finish, silenced him. Be pulling him into an even deeper kiss. Letting go. This time, let go of everything. Every inhibition. Every restraint. Melted into him, surrendering thought to passion that had been simmering between for days. His hands roamed me body, exploring me with reverence. As if he had waited forever to touch me this way. He ran his fingers down me back, pulling me closer, molding me body to his. Me skin burned beneath his touch, every nerve igniting in pleasure. His lips traveled from me mouth to me neck, planting feverish kisses down to me collarbone, making me gasp. He lifted me effortlessly, carrying me to couch, laying me down as if were the most precious thing in the world. His eyes drank me in as he hovered over me, his hands tracing every curve, memorizing every inch of me body. He worshipped me with his touch, his lips, his breath against me skin. He had never felt so desired, or so cherished. To breaking point. He took his time, savoring the moment, making me feel things he had long forgotten. Every kiss, every caress, sent waves of pleasure coursing through me, and he found myself lost in him. In the way he moved, in the way he whispered me name like a prayer. Our bodies intertwined, moving together in a rhythm that felt like fate, like something that had been meant to happen all along. I clung to him, holding on to the moment, not wanting it to end. The heat between built to an unbearable peak, and when we finally gave in, it was nothing short of perfection. Aftermath of passion. Afterward, we lay tangled together, our breathing still heavy, our bodies still humming with the aftershocks of what we had just shared. Tezim light cast a soft glow on his face. As he turned to look at me, his eyes filled with gratitude. Thank you, Rachel, he whispered, his voice laced with emotion. He smirked, tracing a finger down his chest. I should be thanking you. A soft laugh escaped me. I miss this. He exhaled deeply, his fingers brushing me cheek. What happens next? He asked, his voice uncertain. He smiled, pressing a gentle kiss to his lips. Tomorrow will be fine. You zon't have to worry about it. For now, in this moment, there were no worries. No guilt. Only lost in the warmth of the night, and the passion that had finally consumed